Welcome. In front of me I have the OPPO Reno15 Pro, and today I'll be going over unboxing along with a quick look at the phone itself, its specifications, and just giving my general opinions about the specifications, build quality, and if you can maybe find something better that is provided here at maybe even better price tag. So one great thing here is that I am not sponsored by any company, so my opinions here are basically never influenced by any incentive that, oh no, I won't get sponsored, anything bullshit like that. So I can literally say whatever the hell I want and never be afraid that I will be out of a job because of that. So let's get straight into this. So getting in here, obviously based on the thickness of the package, you can probably guess there is no charger. And in here we get some paperwork. There we go. So I just drop that back in here. Make your moment. How am I making my moment? By spending more money than I should on a phone? Is that my moment? Anyway, taking it out. I have a pretty nice looking phone, I'm not gonna lie. I do definitely dig how it looks like. It's also a relatively small device, one of the smaller ones on the market. And it's just a tiny bit bigger than what Samsung offers with their S25 Galaxy. So you can see this is the S25, and this has a 6.2 inches in size display, and it's just a tiny bit smaller. But this isn't something that, honestly, if I were holding both of them, the first thing that I would think is that this phone is just heavier and thicker. That's about it. But in terms of size, they do look very close to each other, so you're literally only going to notice this when you have like side-by-side phones. Anyway, besides that, we got the charging cable here, Type A to Type C, and well, that's it. That's all you get. So moving on to the device. We might not have the smallest bezels that I have ever seen on a device, but they're still pretty modern and nice. And the device has a 89.5% screen to body ratio, so just below that 90%. And talking about the display more, 6.32 inches, 1216 pixels by 2640. And it's an AMOLED display, 1 billion colors, 120 Hz refresh rate, HDR10+, and a peak brightness of, typical brightness of 1800 nits. And it also boasts a pixel density of 460 pixels per inch, covered with a Cornell Gorilla Glass 7i. Display right here is actually pretty superb, so that's nice. And I do have to say, I really dig the color and the size of this device. It's just, for me, perfect. It just scratches that itch for the perfect size. Wow. Anyway, let's continue on. I'm gonna quickly just go through the quick setup right here, just so we can see the OS. Are you fucking kidding me here? I need to connect to network? How about no? You're supposed to be smart. How about fucking work without the network, you stupid piece of shit. Hate the idea of a smartphone that isn't smart enough to work without the goddamn network. Anyway. Getting your phone ready. Well, you wouldn't need to if you didn't fucking force me to connect to network, now would you? Ah, yes. I love when my device owns me and not the other way around. So, this is honestly going through some bullshit, checks of data and all that crap. Let's just take a look at the back, which has the triple camera setup. Now, the main sensor here is actually a whopping 200 megapixel f1.8 aperture, 24mm wide lens, then dual 50 megapixels telephoto and ultra wide. Which allows you to capture videos up to 4K at 60 frames per second, and 1080p goes up to 480 frames per second, though this is going to be slow motion. And then as a selfie, we got another 50 megapixel sensor right here. That is gonna let you do 4K 60 as well in terms of video recording, and 1080p up to 60 with no slow motions. So generally, camera-wise here, actually pretty damn good. I have nothing bad to say about the camera right here. I do want to point out just one thing. The megapixels, 200 and all that jazz, is just fluff for marketing. Bigger doesn't equal better, usually. So something to basically take in consideration. Just because a phone has 200 megapixels like this one does, it doesn't mean it will outperform some other device that might have 50 in terms of camera performance. There's many things that go into camera performance, and just the megapixel isn't going to be, the thing that defines how good a camera is. So take it with, grain of salt. What usually you get advertised with, like primarily the megapixels, that really doesn't matter that much. Now, what you can do in terms of checking how good a camera is on a phone is look at something like the camera benchmarks. They do exist, and every phone is rated there based on some criteria, which, to be fair, I never did those, so I have no freaking clue what the criteria are, what they're looking for in those pictures, and how they're rating them, but it is there if you really want, like, what supposedly on paper is the best camera performance, which, like I said, isn't based on the megapixels. Now, so here's our OS, which is the what do they call this thing? ColorOS 16, and it looks honestly pretty clean. Oh, okay, I like that. Damn, that's pretty nice. So you have categories, and we have all. That's a new thing. I haven't seen this before. And I honestly like this. On my phone, which my daily driver is a Samsung, I have a third-party launcher specifically for the categories. Though in my case, they look a little bit different, but I do very much appreciate having applications categorized just, all together. So as an example, if I get something like right here, you can see I have icon categories at the bottom right here, and I can just keep swapping between them and so on. So it makes it super nice to find applications. So I do very much appreciate this kind of layout right here. But also recent at the very top, pretty good in terms of OS design. Other than that, I also copy some of the features from something like a Samsung, which is this sidebar. Yeah, we get started. So you have applications right here that you can pull out. This one has a little bit less functionality than the one on a Samsung, but it's still pretty damn good. And in terms of bloatware, you can see we have garbage already pre-installed here, like LinkedIn, TikTok, Amazon, Spotify, Temu, a whole heck of a lot of garbage here, Gemini, Facebook, Instagram, and some of the things that look like malware, or basically, garbage kind of applications that come preloaded, will be just the applications of the phone. For instance, like the game assistant is their gaming mode for this device, which you can utilize that if you want to, or just don't bother if you don't care. And yeah, and obviously all these applications that come preloaded here, you can basically dump out. Let's be honest, if you're not a boomer and you don't use Facebook, you can just do this and put it where it belongs, in the trash. Cool. Okay, and also let's not forget about this piece of shit. Boop. There we go. So let's move over to the internals of this device, starting off with the battery. Considering this is a very small phone, 6.3 inches in size, it's also not that thick. Just to give you a side-by-side comparison to the S25, you can see there isn't much difference in terms of thickness right here. Actually, they are almost identical thickness, to be completely honest. There is a very small difference in the thickness. This one is just a titsy bit bigger or thicker, but honestly, it's something that less feelable in terms of just the thickness and more feelable in terms of weight. This device has heft. This is much lighter. The S25, absolutely feather light phone compared to this brick right here. So it does have a bit more to it. And the reason for that is primarily going to probably come down to the battery. And the battery here is a 6,200 milliamp hour battery. That is a insane size that even the S25 Ultra doesn't have in it, but not because that's too big of a battery. It's because Samsung is a greedy pile of cunts that wants to scam the shit out of their user base by giving them shitty batteries. Unlike OPPO, that decided to basically give you the nice new type of battery that allows them to pop in here a bigger battery in terms of milliamp hour capacity while still retaining the same kind of footprint. It's basically a denser battery. And it's the silicon carbon type, which is being used here. That's why we have such a big battery for such a relatively small device. So I want to give them props for basically going with this kind of battery here, unlike Samsung, which just decided to completely screw their customers by giving them an absolute trash of a battery. So with that in mind, battery here, fantastic. Charging speed, another good thing, which is 80 watts in speed. And again, when I compare it to something about the same size and what could almost be considered the same kind of quality of a phone, same, I don't know, like basically let's call these both flagships, right? This flagship is a lesser one, considering this hunk of junk decides that 25 watts of charging speed is enough for a phone because Samsung is scared that their devices will start blowing up. And hell, if you can't figure out how to charge your device a little bit faster than 25 watts without making it blow up, then maybe you shouldn't be selling the fucking phones and maybe add a charger and not make a phone every freaking year. That would probably help the environment a little bit better. So anyway, going to this one here. Charging speed, fantastic. Unfortunately, there's no charger provided with the device, which I would love to see one, specifically when you have higher charging speeds like 80 watts, like we have here. But still pretty great. Additionally, the device comes with 12 gigabytes of RAM, and that's the only option. And storage-wise, we have two options, 256 and half a terabyte of storage, both using UFS 3.1 storage type with no expandable storage. And just to kind of pop that out. There we go. Oh, that's a tiny little tray. As you can see, there it is. We have dual SIM card support, but no SD card to be seen anywhere. So, additionally, it's running on a Dimensity 8450 processor, which is what I presume is the flagship offering from Dimensity. And it is a pretty damn good processor. It is faster than what I have, for instance, in here, which is the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 3, basically, or 8 Elite as it was called at that time. And this is actually faster than that processor. The only faster processor that I can probably guess, as I haven't checked, would be the Bionic A whatever that Apple uses. And the newer Snapdragon being the Snapdragon 8 Gen or 8 Elite Gen 5. I can skip the generation. Counting might be hard for some people. So anyway, if you compare to any of these processors, it's still a freaking fantastic processor that will get you through everything that you will throw at it. So not much problem here. And generally speaking, processors are at this point where faster is just kind of useless. These phones are so freaking fast that you don't really need, newer phone with a faster processor when the previous one was already stupidly fast to the point that